Hey, welcome to the Keystone Experience. Rob Warwick,
And Matt Pitzer.
brought to you by Creek Archery. Find your passion and hunt it down.
And Hillview Motors, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. Remember, Hillview has it in Greensburg, Pennsylvania.
What's going on, everybody? It's getting into riding season. We got us a special guest here today. Good salesman up at Z M Motors here in Greensburg, Kelton Black. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, brother. Thanks for having me.
You know, this is one of our passions besides going out and shooting animals. We love to ride Harleys, and we've become good friends with Kelton over the last couple of years. Matt's bought a few bikes off of him. I'm probably buying another one off of him while the wife sits over there and gives me evil looks.
Yeah. That's going to happen.
So we're going to have Kelton on today, and we're going to talk about the new lineup that Harley has come out with this year and some of the old models from last year. And, you know, one of the models that I was really pumped about that they come out last year was the Electric Guide, the Revival. I wanted that bike in the worst way.
That thing is sweet, man. It is one of the most badass machines I've seen come through the door in quite some time.
But they only made, what was it, 1,500 of them?
Yeah, it was 1,500. We were fortunate enough to have 3 that we sold. We were only supposed to get 2 and got lucky. So got 3 of them and sold them all, and probably be the last you'll see for a while unless you see them out on the road.
Well, isn't Harley planning on kind of doing that, like bringing an older style bike back every year or every other year?
They haven't really announced if they're going to be doing one this year. I'm assuming they are. Generally the way the model years go now is they do an official release at the beginning of the year, and then you'll see some half year releases with different products, P&A products, different motorcycles they might have decided to come out with halfway through the year. It varies every year as to what they decide to do, which makes them one of the most exciting, releases of motorcycles out there, is that they do amp it up and, make people wait and see. So we'll see what happens, halfway through this year. But as of right now, the stuff they've released thus far, I got to tell you, I'm very excited about.
Yeah, I actually got to see one of them the other day when I was up there. Got to see the Road Glide ST, which would be their King of the Bagger series motorcycle.
Yeah, it seems like they're starting to gear towards more of a performance bagger setting, which, I mean, that idea has kind of taken over the motorcycling world in the last few years, with winning the King of the Baggers race last year, and just seeing a lot of the builds that guys are starting to do, prior to even taking their bike from the dealership. It's all geared towards performance. 2-to-1 exhausts, short fairings with, nice wind direction. There's lots of different cams and motor builds that guys have been putting into these things. It's incredible what we're actually seeing people do before they actually leave the dealership with their motorcycle.
Now, they still got the standard Road Glide, right?
Correct.
And then the ST.
They have the Road Glide Special, the Road Glide ST, and also the CVO Road Glide.
Okay. Now, the ST is going to be more the performance bagger.
Correct.
With the smaller bags. The bike sits higher because it has, 13-inch shocks in the back instead of 12-inch shocks.
Yes.
Now, the only reason I know that is because I watched that video over 35 times.
I was going to say, I was impressed with that. I expect him to know that. Of course, I'm sure there are some things, like with so many bikes, you can't possibly remember everything.
No. I try to make a cheat sheet for, just about every motorcycle, but with the 2022s just coming out, it is hard to narrow down all the differences and changes and new models that have, become popular over the time. It just, there's a lot of upgrades. There's a lot of things disappearing and new things reappearing. It's pretty incredible what they're doing behind closed doors.
They're slowly dwindling away the Softails.
Yes. Well, actually, everything is a Softail now, as far as the Dynas and Softails.
Okay.
They've kind of classified them all in the same category of Softail, which the suspension system on those machines is top notch. It's incredible. I haven't heard anybody that's ridden a Dyna Street Bob that is now riding a, Softail Street Bob, basically, and complain. It's the handling's there, the appearance is there. It's just a little bit more modernized, a little bit new technology, which is, it's not a bad thing.
Now back to the Road Glide. The ST has what, a 117?
Yes, that's a 117 displacement. It's the same motor as a CVO Road Glide. The only thing different really is going to be the shorter bags and obviously the shorter fender. And the wheels. The wheels are a bit different. They're going with a bronze Prodigy wheel on the Road Glide ST, Street Glide ST, and the big spoke on the CVO Road Glides.
And the special is what? You can get it in the black or chrome, right?
Correct.
That's the way the specials work on all the categories. They either come with a black engine and black exhaust or chrome and chrome exhaust.
Yeah, on all the specials. The STs will be all black with the bronze.
And what motor do they have on those?
The specials are 114s.
114s.
Got a cell cam picture. You're going to like that one.
A Coyote.
Yeah, got a Coyote on the cell cam. He's on Powerline. We're sitting here podcasting.
And we're sitting here podcasting.
We got a Coyote we could have gone and shot.
We should have been out there plucking his hairs.
I'd be down for that one, man. I like shooting them.
That's like a running thing we have here with the podcast, because most of the time it's his phone going off with the trail cameras. And he'll stop in the middle and check it. So I saw it said Powerline. I'm like, well, that ain't a deer. Let's see what that is. I'd say let's take the bikes, but at the time of recording, the weather's not quite right.
No, I'm definitely not dragging the Street Glide out in this weather, man. What we buy trucks for.
So they also changed one of the longest running Harleys, the Sportster. They made the Sportster S.
Correct. And they're still producing 883s. They're still producing 48s. But the Sportster S, I don't even know how you can classify it as a Sportster, because at 128 horsepower, there's nothing entry level about that bike. in a 220 or 40 millimeter rear tire to boot, it's a nasty look. It's a nasty motor. It's just overall, I mean, if you're looking for a bike that packs a punch in a small package, that's the bike.
When I first seen that bike, the first thing I thought of was the dirt track Harleys. That's the very first, like, as soon as you see a picture of it, that's the first thing that pops in your mind is a dirt track Harleys. And I thought when it came out that they were eliminating the whole Sportster line and just going with that. That's what I was thinking, And then I found out, like you said, they were still making the 48. Are they still making an iron?
Yeah, iron 883. Yeah,
okay.
And the 48, which is it's a 1200 cc motor, but it's more of the 883 style with the fat tires. Solid. Both of them are solid bikes, but I will tell you the 883, the 48, they're going to be a lot more entry level than the Sportster S. The Sportster S, in my opinion, as perceived, I think it reminds me of the V-Rod a bit more than it does a Sportster.
Yeah.
The body style of it, the way the lines flow on the bike, the wide tire, the power, even the sound with the Revolution motor. I mean, it is not your average bear by any means. It's a pretty powerful thing.
It's funny that you mentioned the Sportster S in relation to the V-Rod, because a lot of people are upset with the look and what they're doing with the Sportster, the Sportster S. But those same people were probably the ones that didn't like the V-Rod, and now that bike, I feel, is one that people really try to find now. It didn't receive because it was so different. The V-Rod was so different when they put that out compared to everything else that Harley had. And the Sportster's in that same line right now. It's so different from what we're used to seeing that people hate it. But then, give it a year or two, and I think people warmed up to the V-Rod and the performance that it gave you, and I think they're going to do the same with the Sportster S.
Well, like before you got here, me and Kelton was talking, and I said to him, I said, I feel that the changes that Harley's making is they're trying to go towards that younger class, but they're kind of forgetting about these old goats like me that like just that old classic Harley look, And he explained it to me, and he made sense. It made sense to me after he explained it, But I'm still that old fat tire, bagger, low sitting Harley-Davidson, Eventually, don't get me wrong, I love getting on Haley's Sportster and ripping through town on it, But
I know one Harley you don't want to ride again. You're scared of it.
What?
The live wire.
Oh, yeah. No. That bike is that. If I owned one of those, I'd be dead in a week. Guaranteed.
That's a pretty incredible machine, too. I got to tell you, I've ridden that thing more times than most, and it never gets old.
The throttle response on that thing, it scared the shit out of me in the parking lot. It was crazy.
0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. It's one of those things, if you've never felt it in your life, it's something you ought to feel.
Yeah. Because the day I stopped up there, they had it out, and I rode it down the parking lot, and I'll tell you what, it was freaking nasty. I said to Matt, dude, if I bought one of those, I'd be dead in a week. Guaranteed.
And that's another machine that you really have to understand before you love it or hate it. You have to understand why it was created. It's a commuter. It's a functional motorcycle. It's something that's going to save you money in the long run, even though you make a little bit bigger of an investment up front. When you think about only ride, I live 4 miles away from work. I could ride that thing to work every day for a week, plug it in overnight. I might see a small increase in my electric bill, but it ain't no $25, $30, $40, $50, $60 at the gas pump.
Right.
Yeah.
And the thing is, once you own it, then you're really not spending a dime.
Right.
Your insurance, but hey, motorcycle insurance is obviously proven to be cheaper than car insurance.
Oh, yeah.
So, at the end of the day, you look at it as, hey, I love riding motorcycles. I want to be as efficient as I can, save my penny so that I can buy my bagger, my fat boy, my breakout. When you put it into perspective like that, all of a sudden that live wire now that doesn't seem like a bad idea,
right? Right.
But it's one of those things. You really have to be able to explain it to somebody so that they understand it and realize, hey, it's not to go pick up chicks at the bar. You ain't going to pick up nobody with that little seat. But I bet you get to work pretty cheap to and from,
Yep. It's interesting that, to me, and this something as we're talking here I just thought of, is people seem to want a motorcycle to do everything. They want it to be efficient. They want it to be fast. They want it to have luggage. They want a certain look. But yet you don't want that. You don't expect it out of your vehicle. Your cage.
Yeah.
You got a pickup. You don't expect it to be super fuel efficient, but you have a pickup because you're towing or hauling, or you got a sedan. Like, people don't look for a car to do everything perfectly, but it seems like they want a motorcycle to do everything. Let's cover all the bases. And they forget why stuff like the live wire was put out there, or why they have different models.
Yeah. I never bought a Harley to be fuel efficient.
Your
Never.
right hand doesn't allow, even if we could get it to be super fuel efficient, your wrist will say no.
Yeah, it's it's interesting.
I just think people look at the live wire and they're like, well, it won't hold luggage.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't meant to.
Exactly.
Like you said, it's somebody to go back and forth to work, take to downtown Pittsburgh and run through those streets. Because I went down there on my bike, and I'll tell you what, I will never, ever, ever take my Harley to downtown Pittsburgh again.
No, me neither.
Horrible.
Yeah. You ever do that? You ever go down to Pittsburgh?
That's why my insurance is so high, actually.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had an accident down in Pittsburgh. Coming home from Pittsburgh, actually. I was down at the RV show at the time. I was selling RVs at the convention center on my way home, and I was on a 08 1200 Sportster coming home, come out of the tunnels. Some woman slammed her brakes in the middle of the road, and I, with 7 or 18-inch handlebars and a 21-inch front wheel, they don't stop too great. So, yeah, actually, that was December of 2019 that happened. So my insurance should be going down this year. But needless to say, I haven't been back to Pittsburgh since on the Harley-Davidson.
Yeah, I don't blame you. We took a ride with a friend of ours down there. What was that, 2nd Avenue we went down?
Whatever that is where all the bars are.
Well, no, that was Carson Street. That wasn't terrible other than the people.
Yeah, it was.
I'm talking that I think it was 2nd Avenue where you and I hit, they call it a pothole.
Yeah, that's
But
not a
I was
pothole.
surprised that both of our bikes didn't get swallowed.
Yeah. Yeah, it was almost like I needed Pan American to ride down there. The rough terrain. But yeah, Carson Street is not a street to ride a motorcycle on. I had more doors thrown open on me and people stepping out from in between cars. You know, it's just dangerous down there.
I'll tell you honestly, I don't even like taking my truck down there. I'm more worried about somebody swinging a door open and digging my truck than I am anything else.
I just had my truck down there a week ago for a Penguins game. Yeah, that was fun trying to find a parking garage.
Yeah.
Every parking garage I saw said 6'2" or 6'4".
Yeah, no way. No way.
I'm like, I don't know. I probably should measure my truck to see how tall it is, but I know I'm 6'2", and my truck's taller than I am. So I finally did find one. So I think we're all in agreement. We just don't need to go to Pittsburgh. Yeah.
I need about a 7-foot garage to get my truck anywhere. Even at the casino in Greensburg, I'd have to park outside because unfortunately it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So, what other new models did they come out with this year?
Well, there's a big one that I think is going to transform motorcycling for a lot of folks, and that is the Lowrider ST.
Oh, I'm ready to talk about this bike.
Yeah, I wanted to wait a little bit to get into it because I was expecting that anybody listening right now is probably interested in that bike. It at least heard about it. That to me is the direction that Harley-Davidson's headed. I couldn't be happier because that style of bike, the handling, the performance, the features that are actually beneficial, the windscreen with the Bluetooth radio that can be added on, the bronze accents, the 2 amazing colors they have to offer for it. In my opinion, that is the bike. If you're in the market right now for something to do a little bit of everything, like you mentioned, Matt, that bike will do a little bit of everything, 100%.
Does that bike come with bags too?
Yeah, and they're quick detach. So you wake up in the morning, you're bringing nothing to work with you that day. You ride that bike stripped down. You want to bring your lunchbox. You want to bring a couple papers, some paperwork you need to bring to work. You throw them into bags, clip them on, and you go. It takes maybe 10 seconds to take both bags off total, and you have a completely performance-based chassis that's going to get you from point A to point B.
And they still make a standard lowrider.
They do. Yeah, it's just a stripped-down model. Now, in my opinion, to be honest with you, the fairing, I don't know how it's going to look without bags.
On the ST.
Yeah, they haven't been released to dealers yet. We're not expected to get one till April. I've already taken a couple pre-orders. So,
what do you think of that fairing on the ST?
I love it.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. I know. I've talked to a few people about it. They've had some love or hate relationships with it. I love it. I think it looks good.
It's got that the old FXR type look to it.
Is it attached to the handlebars, or is it like the Road Glide?
It's a frame mounted.
So it stays straight when you turn.
Correct.
See, that's the whole thing that I can't get through my head.
Well, you better start looking at the road.
That's the thing I cannot, like, I've ridden a Road Glide, and I have the hardest time when I lean into a turn, and that fairing is facing straight ahead. It bothers me for some reason. Like, I don't know. I feel like I'm going to dump the bike or something. It's just weird. But I've heard other guys say with the Batwing connected to the handlebars, you get all this wind turbulence on them. You got a Street Glide. Have you noticed it?
You know, I have a Street Glide, and my handlebars are above my fairing. This fairing serves no purpose for my hands. Now, as far as turning the fairing, slow speed turns, there's no doubt that not having a fairing attached to the bike is proven to be easier, better handling all around. Now, with that being said, the wind that you do get on a road glide tends to be a bit more than what you'd get on a Street Glide. So if you're not a wind guy, if you don't like being out and getting the crap kicked out of you by the wind, Street Glide probably suits you. If you don't mind the wind a little bit, Road Glide might be a better option, because I will tell you, ultimately the bike is a better design, and it's proven by engineers and everybody else. You go look on any kind of forum. It's a better design all around for a motorcycle itself. But is it a better design for you? Right. That's for you to answer, because they make so many different models and brands and options that, you know, it's hard not to find what you're looking for. Right. Honestly, you know, if you want to build this, we can build it. It's no problem.
I mean, I get the same thing with the Fat Boy guys always telling me, "Oh, I don't know how you ride that thing in a crosswind." Well, I've never had a problem with that bike floating, except when I get between two tractor and trailers. And when I mean between, I mean running the white dotted line in between two tractor and trailers. That's the only time I've ever had a problem.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think when your wheel is moving 60 or 70 mile an hour that any wind is going through it anyways, even if you have straight up spokes?
Right.
There's no wind going through there.
Right.
I think that is the biggest hoax I've ever heard. I think guys just don't like the look of the solid wheels, and I think they should just be upfront about it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like I told him the other day, I said, I seen the new 2022 Fat Boy. I don't like them putting holes in the rim. The whole idea of the Fat Boy is the solid rims. Mm-hmm. To me, that's what makes that bike.
Yeah.
I thought about it when I bought mine. Oh, I'm going to put big fatty spokes on it. What am I going to do that for? Now, I should have just went and bought a Heritage. I should have just, because it's basically the same bike with spokes on it. You know?
A good friend of mine, actually, Drew Szymanski. Shout out to Drew. He's a great friend of mine. He's building an 04 Fat Boy right now. It looked exactly like an 04 Fat Boy when it started. It doesn't look like an 04 Fat Boy now. I mean, he has got this thing so done up and sweet looking that it just, you would never be able to tell. You'd be like, holy cow, look at that. That's a Softail Deluxe. I mean, that thing is sweet, but it's not. It's an 03 Fat Boy, you know. Yep. They're probably one of the most versatile bikes out there as far as customization goes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you got us way off the low rider estimate.
We'll get back to them. I mean, personally, I was having kind of a hard time looking at that bike for a while. You know, like every day when I'm, doing my job at work, I got that time I can stop and look at the Harley website, and I look at that low rider, and I'm like, the ST, and I'm like, man, I don't know. I guess my whole thing is I got to see it in person. Mm-hmm. You can't look at something on a picture and say, okay, that looks cool.
I just like the throwback with the technology. Throwing that FXR style fairing on and still having all the new technology that's coming with Harleys now. I don't know. It's interesting. The only thing I don't like about it, and this is me personally, being 6'2", mids are kind of tough.
Sure. Sure. I sat on a lowrider the other day. It was actually a brand new Gunship Gray lowrider S, the 117. I sat on it. My legs, just the heavy breather, the mid controls, it was in the way. It was completely in the way for me. But the best thing about that is that if I want to go to a football shaped heavy breather on there with high flow, and I want to move those controls to the mid forward controls a little bit as far as set, it's there. The options are there to do it, Right. And that's the best part about the brand itself, is that no matter what you pick, we can make it fit.
Yeah, you can customize the bike to you.
Yes. and having the parts and accessories available, genuine HD parts and the aftermarket side of things that at the end of the day, it would take more than, a couple hours to talk about all of the different options you have for customization, whether it be Saddlemen, Lucky Dave's, or Clockworks, or whatever brand you want to pick. I mean, there's hundreds of them, and you have just about every trinket option that you could possibly want to make that bike yours.
Yep.
And
I'm actually ordering a set of floorboards off of Dirtbags out of California. The dude promises me I will not be able to grind these floorboards off. And I've finally realized that, every year 2 sets of floorboards is getting a little expensive. So I'm going to give Dirtbags a try and see how they work out.
Now, have you had a chance to put any seat time in on the Pan America?
I've had probably 10 miles, parking lot riding, a little bit of in the grass riding behind the shop, nothing crazy.
Yeah.
The thing is, with the Pan Americas, and I will tell you, every second I was on that motorcycle, I was in love. It's one of the nicest street and trails I've ever ridden in my life. And I've ridden a few of them, African Twin, a couple Ducatis. The Pan America, for me, generally speaking, street and trails are higher seat height. What I liked about the Pan America was I could throw my leg over it. Even though I was kind of tippy-toeing, I was still in a position where I was comfortable. The power, you can't ask for more. There's plenty of power there. You twist the throttle. As far as you can twist the throttle as fast as you go. It's instant power. It runs great.
That Revolution Max engine seems to be the real deal.
It is. Honest to God, it is. I'll be honest with you, the sound of the motor, for me, doesn't do it. I've never really heard one with an aftermarket exhaust yet, and I need to, because the sound of the motor itself doesn't do it for me. But the performance of it, hands down, one of the best motors out there on the market right now.
Yeah.
But the thing is, with the Pan America that I was getting into, is that they're so limited that when it comes to even taking a shorter test ride, we have to watch how many miles we put on each unit, because they will be sold within 5 days if they weren't pre-ordered already.
Now here's a random question for you. Somebody takes it, on a test ride. Do you have to tell them, look, keep it on the road? Or are they allowed to do some slight off-roading?
No. We do, generally we do test rides in the parking lot. We have demo plates, but our parking lot's so big, for one, so you have plenty of room to navigate and really get a feel for the motorcycle safely. Two, we are located just off of Route 30, which I don't know if you've ever been a motorcyclist on Route 30 before, but it's probably one of the most unsafe places on the planet. So, whenever I do offer test rides to my customers, which I do just about every time, it's, hey, let's do it around the parking lot, do a little bit of your turns and throw the bike around a little bit, get on the gas a little bit. Let's see how this bike can handle without putting ourselves in danger while doing so.
And let's face it, you're going to get much more, a better understanding of the bike in that parking lot than you will on a straight highway on
Absolutely.
Route 30. Listen, whether you're buying a Harley, a Honda, Kawasaki, they can all go fast. Mm-hmm. But I feel like you'll get the best experience in actually what that bike can do by doing the parking lot stuff.
Absolutely. Being in the parking lot allows you to focus on the motorcycle and focus on what you like and dislike, rather than, okay, there's a red light up here, or, okay, we're going to make a left here, or, oh, I need to turn around here, or, there's a car
somebody
here
on their cell phone.
Yeah, or there's somebody on their phone, or, in the parking lot, it's, okay, well, I'll just go around this building. There ain't nothing coming.
Yeah.
Worst thing going to happen, a bird might shit on me. I mean, honest to God, that's the worst thing that can happen to you in the parking lot.
Yeah, especially pulling in there, because, if you're pulling in up at Z M, you obviously either ride or know somebody that rides, and you're already conscious of it.
Or that's the place to go if you want to ride.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that's been getting more and more popular this year, is that people are wanting to ride, which is odd to me because it's never been like that before.
Yeah.
I'm 26 myself. I've been meeting people that are 21, 22, 19, 18 that want to ride because somebody influenced them to do so, and I think it's great.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you gotta keep getting. It's just like hunting. Gotta get the youngins involved.
Mm-hmm.
Us bikers used to be a dying breed. We're not no more, which is good.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, I wish everybody would just once get on a bike and go for a ride, because everything that bothers you or everything that's under your skin that day is all gone. When you get on there and you twist that throttle, it's just you and that bike, and your problems are gone. You know, it's like therapy. I don't need to pay a psychologist to tell me I'm nuts. You know, just jump on my Harley and everything is gone.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to throw 2 questions at you here, Kelton.
Uh-oh. He had to look them up, too.
No, I've been on the Harley. I'm not looking them up. I'm researching as we're podcasting.
He's cheating.
So if you see me looking at my phone, if you're watching this video on our YouTube channel, I'm researching.
He's looking at wieners.
No. Come on. Seriously? All right. I'm going to put you on the spot here. There's no wrong answer unless the person listening doesn't like your answer, then it's a wrong one to them. I want you to pick your favorite cruiser, and once we're done with that, we'll move into, what are they calling it this year? Because they changed all the names. The Grand American Touring.
Okay.
So let's start with the cruiser line, because obviously the sport line right now is the Sportster S.
Yeah.
So you really can't pick a favorite out of there because there's only really one bike in that category.
Yeah.
But I'm curious what your favorite cruiser is. We got, the Iron, the 48, Softail Standard, Street Bob, Fat Bob, Lowrider S, Lowrider ST, the Fat Boy, or a Heritage Classic. Kelton's going to pick one of those bikes. We're going to give you one of them bikes. Which one do you want to take home?
That's a tough one, to be honest with you. It really is, because there are amazing values in that category. There are amazing riding bikes in that category. And there are classic, true American heritage motorcycles in that category. So to pick one is difficult. To be honest with you, the one that catches my eye the most is definitely the Fat Bob 114. Looks, styling, functionality, that bike by far has it all, and at a pretty aggressive price point for what it's worth. Now, to me, the smartest option in that category is the Lowrider ST, because you get the bags, you get the fairing, you get the inverted forks, you get the 200 series tire, you get the 117, you get everything you need to do anything. So it's tough. It would be a dead even tie. I would be happy if you gave me either one. I'll put it to you that way. At Lowrider ST or a Fat Bob 114.
That's actually a better answer than I was expecting.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, actually committed, and I commend you for that. And that's just your choice.
Yeah.
I'm curious because that's part of the fun of motorcycles is everybody has a different opinion on what they like and what they look, and there's no right or wrong
your
answer.
motorcycle basically reflects your personality.
Absolutely.
That's the way I look at it.
Man, I'm really confused then.
Yeah.
Because I got 2 very different motorcycles at home.
Absolutely. And you know what? I'm glad you asked me that, because it doesn't matter what I pick, because it's all about what you pick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like what I like and what I think is cool and what I think is functional and a good value, those things are great for me, but they don't help you.
Right.
That's why we do what we do at Z&M. That's why I do what I do at Z&M. I want people to feel like they are getting the bike that is the bike of their dreams. I want you to fall in love with it. I want you to sit on it. I want you to feel comfortable on it. I want you to take it for a ride longer than 2 minutes around the parking lot. Like, don't go around one time and tell me you love the bike and it's the bike for you. Like, test ride 5 more to make sure. Like, it's just not a split decision. It's either this or that. Like, there are so many different personalities in each and every one of those models that it is almost nearly impossible to make a decision in under 3 hours.
Yeah.
Right.
That is funny, Rob. You say that, the bike reflects your personality. And I said I have 2 very different bikes, but yet I feel they still fit my personality and me very well. With my 06 Road King, it is a very classic old school look. And being that I was born in 84, I have a little bit of that old school mentality. But really, my generation was like the start of the internet and instant messenger and cell phones. Like that all started when I was around 16. So I'm also part of that new technology, which is where my Street Bob comes in, because it's blacked out, more modern, completely different than my Road King.
Right.
Road King's old and classic. My Street Bob is my new school bike. So they still do fit, but they're very different. But I'm a weird guy too. All right, so we got your answer for the cruiser line. Now, if Z and M's going to give you the Grand America touring bike, which one are you taking? Got your Electra Glide Standard, your Road King, Road Glide, Street Glide, and Ultra Limited. We all know, we said earlier, there's specials and STs. There's different models, but those are the base ones.
We're going to exclude the chassis and the models at this point in time, because obviously if I had to pick one, it's going to be a CVO. There's no doubt about that. But as far as which model CVO, that is a good question. I daily drive a CVO Street Glide, a 15, and, I love it to pieces. It is a wonderful bike. However, if I could get my bike painted exactly the way it is with the same chassis in a Road Glide, I'd be much happier. I do like the Road Glide better. I like the visibility of the Road Glide. I like the style of the Road Glide. I like the options for customization on the Road Glide. In my honest opinion, I got to tell you, I would pick a Road Glide over a Street Glide any day of the week. And
again, that's just you.
Yeah.
And that's who I'm asking. I'm not asking anybody that's listening. And
and what's
like Kelton
crazy
said, come up and talk to him and find the bike for you.
Yeah, and what's crazy is that I daily drive a Street Glide every day. So for me to say that, I mean, I look at it as, I've already see what it's like to have this, and I've obviously ridden all of them. I mean, I do that every day. But to have the opportunity to purchase one of those, I got to tell you, I'd take full advantage of it.
I like it.
Yeah.
He gives an answer.
Yep.
I was waiting for him to dance around it.
Nope.
I like dancing. I like riding more.
Honest answers, too. Now, when you get old and feeble, are you going to ride a Tri-Glide?
Yes.
Well, first things first, I like to make sure I make it to old and feeble.
I know I'm going to be riding one. The wife will be really happy then, because they'll have like a couch on the back of it.
Yeah. I think I can answer that for everybody at the table. Yeah, it's going to happen. It's the same when we talk hunting. You got people that are against crossbows.
Yeah. Eventually, we're all going to be shooting one.
You got two choices, and it's the same when we're talking about the bikes here. At some point, when you're hunting, you're shooting a compound, your shoulder's not going to give you what it needs or something. You're not going to be able to pull that bow back.
Yep.
So you got two choices. Grab a crossbow or stop hunting.
Yeah.
At least archery.
Yeah.
And it's the same with a bike. You might not like the trike now that you're able to hold a bike up or ride it, but at some point we all get older. Father Time is undefeated to my knowledge.
To be honest with you, I've ridden a couple, and you got to learn how to ride again, because you don't lean, you steer, and they're really comfortable. What I can't get through my head is stopping at a red light and not putting my feet down.
That's kind of, yeah, it is weird. It is weird. I've ridden a few of them around the parking lot a couple times. I got to tell you, it is completely different than riding a motorcycle, but it's just as fun. My thing is, with the Tri-Glides, is that they're convenient.
Yes.
When you're going if you're going on any sort of long distance trip, if you used to go to Daytona every year and you used to go to Myrtle Beach every year and you'd ride down every single year, there's nothing that should stop you now.
Exactly.
Honestly, if you can get on the three wheels, because the thing is, you never put your feet down. You sit, You only stop for gas. When you get there, you got all your luggage all built into it.
Yep.
In my opinion, it's the way to travel. I would travel that way now if I could afford one.
We were talking about.
Yeah, we took a little break. Little break, you know.
Yeah, he picked his 2 favorite bikes that he would like to have.
He did, and now we got more beer.
More beer.
And we got some food. And you'll see that if you're watching this on our YouTube channel.
I gotta tell you, the food is amazing. Man.
Deer bologna from Dominick's Custom Meats.
Yep, and it's delicious. So took a little break. And
There's 2 whole deer sitting in the cooler out there yet that are getting made into kibasi.
Yeah. Let's jump back into the bikes now that we're refreshed. We've got some food, got some beverages.
Well, you got food on my mind now, so you know, here's something I'd like to do. I'd like these 2 gentlemen here to take me out hunting and show me how it's done, because I've seen heard a lot of the podcasts and seen a lot of stuff going on, and I tell you, there's 2 guys you want to go shoot a deer with. They're sitting right here.
Well, I appreciate that.
Might have to make it happen this fall.
Yeah, we'll get him out there.
I know a guy that's got a secret spot.
Yeah, I got a couple of secret spots.
I think we can let Kelton know at least one of them.
Yeah.
I'll go blindfolded.
Nah.
No, that you're not going to want to do that, because you're going to want to be able to see where you're walking. It's a secret spot for a reason. No, you're going to. You probably won't know where you are, but you don't want to do it blindfolded, because that's how you're going to wind up hurt, and then you're not going to be able to sell us bikes.
Yeah.
and Z and M's going to be upset with us, and everything else.
Yeah, they're going to be like, oh, you took him hunting and now he can't sell bikes.
And you guys stay pretty busy up there year round.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people ask me. It's funny that you bring that up, because a lot of people ask me, how do you live working a seasonal job? And I'm like, man, you got no idea. we got like the best motorcycle, one of the best motorcycle states out there. I mean, honest to God, even though, you know, a lot of people say you can only ride 6 months out of the year, 9 months out of the year. Listen, there's no such thing as a bad riding season, only bad riding gear.
Yeah.
So spend the extra couple $100 on the jacket and go ride your motorcycle. And that's how I look at it. You know, there's pictures of me a couple years ago on a Springer Softail with every piece of chrome you can imagine. And guess what? I didn't care about having to clean it when I got home, because I got to go out and ride the damn thing.
Yep.
You know, and that's what it was all about for me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Rob and I and Walt showed up at, what was that? March or April last year. It was like 20 degrees out that morning.
Yeah.
Just
the day I got out of the hospital with COVID, it was 10 degrees. I come over the house and got on my Harley and went out for a ride.
Yep. Now, there's one thing we haven't talked about yet, and I want to get to. There's new technology, and it goes back to, I think people are going to love and hate it, because people don't like change.
I still ain't used to it in my truck.
And that's what I want to talk about, because I think it's going to be a really cool bit of technology, something I think is overdue on motorcycles. And Kelton, you want to tell us what the new technology coming to the touring line, right?
Yeah, so they have experience with this product over the last 2 years, and anybody that I've sold a motorcycle to that has it absolutely loves it, and that is RDRS, which stands for Rider Defense Reflex System, which inclusive, information, hill assist, enhanced cornering, tire pressure sensors that are built in that show up on your screen. Enhanced cornering. It sounds crazy. But until you feel it, you can't explain it.
Well, that's like on my 2000 Fat Boy, it has enhanced cornering. When your floorboard lifts up too far, you know you're into the corner too tight.
Absolutely. And that came for free. You didn't have to pay extra for it. No, the enhanced cornering aspect of it, really what it comes down to is the emergencies. You know, when you're going around a turn and a raccoon runs out in front of the bike and you don't know what to do, and you jam up that front brake and that bike stands up, and the enhanced cornering aspect of this RDRS system is actually going to keep you into your turn as you hit that brake. So it's not going to jerk the bike, stand it up, and put you out of your line. It's going to keep you in your line, let you slow down to the comfortable speed that you're, trying to get to, and proceed with caution. The tire pressure, so I'll be honest with you, tire pressure sensors to me, it's just about me being lazy, and I hate to say it like that, but at the end of the day, man, I do not want to go down there and take off the saddlebag, pull the valve stem, cap off, check the tire pressure, only to find out that it's perfectly fine, plug my speakers back in, mount the saddlebag, get on the bike, and hit the road.
And it's not just about, most riders are that way, and it's not a good habit to get into, but I think if you talk to anybody that's rode for, more than in a year or so, they're going to be like, yeah, I check tire pressure when there's maybe a 20-degree, 30-degree temperature change.
We all know where the tire sensor, the tire pressure, not checking it gets you.
Yeah.
You go through tires quick.
And I don't know if you guys have checked the prices of tires lately, but I think I want to check mine out and make them last as long as I can.
Yeah.
Because the rubber's getting a little bit pricey.
Yeah, it is.
But the tire pressure sensors themselves, what's included with the tire pressure sensors is a 90-degree valve stem. Now, unless you put tire or air in your own tires, you don't even know what I'm talking about when I say 90-degree valve stem.
Right.
But 90-degree valve stem's huge. Honestly, the amount of times I've had to sit there and at the auto parts store and try to find, a tire pressure gauge that actually fits in there and doesn't. That stuff's a pain in the butt. I don't want to deal with it. It's 2022. If I can talk to my phone and tell it what to say, I should be able to check my tire pressure without cutting my fingers open and getting cuts on my knuckles.
Or having to move the bike 6 inches. Oh, nope, it's not in the right spot.
Correct.
Move it 6 inches again. Nope, still not there.
Exactly. I jump on it, you turn it on, it says, hey, your tire pressure in the front is a pound low. Would you like us to tell you where the gas station is? And all you have to do is click yes, and your GPS turns on and tells you where the nearest gas station is. Come on, man. I'm all about that, especially if it only cost me $1,000 extra.
Right.
Now, the last thing that we didn't even get into is the hill assist. That is what I think is cool.
That's the one I really wanted to talk about because that's brand new for this year, right?
No, that's been going on for about 2 years now.
Oh, okay.
But the thing is, over the last 2 years, when you tell people they got to pay an extra $1,000 for a motorcycle, that's all they hear. They don't want to hear that it does this, this, and this. They only want to hear, oh, man, it's $1,000 extra bucks for the bike. Forget it. I'm done. But when you really sit and you think about it, the $1,000 that you spend to get the RDRS on your bike includes the hill assist, the convenience of having the tire pressure sensors, the enhanced cornering. There's a lot of stuff there that you get for the $1,000. But the hill assist itself, you pull up to a red light on a hill, you hold your clutch in, you stay in first gear, you squeeze the front brake one time, and you sit there and you wait until the light turns green. You let the clutch out, you hit the gas, and it goes right up the hill. There's no drift back. There's no sitting there holding your front brake and your clutch and straddling the bike with your old lady on the back, bitch, and she wants to make a right turn and you can't. We could go on and on about the scenarios. I've been in a million of them. But at the end of the day, I'll take that hill hold all day long.
That's where I thought that it would come in really good is when you have a passenger. Because when I'm on it by myself, normally I just leave one. I always hold the bike with my right foot.
Yeah, on the rear brake.
With the rear brake, and I never take my foot off of it until I'm ready to pull out. And with a passenger on, it's kind of a pain in the ass to do that. So I think that hill assist is going to be real nice when you got a passenger.
It's all about making them safer.
Yeah, and
let's face it, it's hard enough riding a motorcycle.
The day they can come out with it where it tells you that there's some idiot in a cage in front of you on their cell phone not paying attention is going to be the best day of my life.
Kelton, there's an idea for you to work on.
Yeah,
you can be a millionaire.
I'll make sure I get that patent here soon.
Yeah. So we've kind of gone over, a lot of the different new models, some of the new models, what's new with Harley, and obviously if you got any other questions, stop up at Z M and see Kelton. There's color choices and just 1,000,001 different options. But I want to take a couple minutes here before we wrap this one up and, figure out, Kelton, what brought you into sales up at Z and a little bit more about Z as a business.
Well, it actually started, I was in sales. I was in trailer sales. I sold trailers, RVs, and it was a great job. I loved it. but it just wasn't. It didn't do the wow factor for me. You know, I mean, here I am. I'm selling $250,000 motorhomes, and I'm talking about wow factor. But the thing is, for me, the excitement is in the person that is purchasing. And I will tell you honestly, you know, 10 to 1, the motorcycle customers are 100 times more excited than somebody that's buying a $200,000 motorhome. The amount of excitement, the people that I get to meet on a daily basis, the amount of time I get to spend with people finding, you know, the motorcycle that's right for them. It's not like buying a car. Everybody likes to say, oh, you're in sales. It's kind of like selling a car. No, it's not even close to selling a car. You actually like want to buy this. This is going to like change your life. This is going to make your life so much better and fun and exciting, and you don't even know it yet. And, you know, for me, just being able to be a part of that for so many different people is what keeps me coming back every day to do the same job. I've had several opportunities to do other things in my life, and at this point in time, you know, I'm completely 100% content selling motorcycles for Z&M. They treat me well. There are no grievances or problems that I have with that company. Everybody is honest. Everybody is there for you, and I mean you as in everybody. They are 100% there for you as the most dedicated team of people I've ever had the pleasure of working with in my entire life. And, you know, I am grateful to be in the position that I'm in, and I mean that wholeheartedly. For what it's worth, that's the only reason that you, me, and Rob are sitting here at this table right now is because of Z M Harley-Davidson. And, you know, I'm grateful for everybody I've gotten to meet, including yourselves, as well as, you know, everybody that I am planning to meet down the road here.
Yeah, and one of the cool things I like about Z&M is I think they allow you to obviously sell a job you're passionate about, but also other things, because you did some charity work over the holidays for another organization that you're passionate about.
Correct. Yeah, I did a lot of you know, animal shelter work over the past, I don't know, year and a half. It started with the charity ride that I did for All But Forgotten, and turned into collecting, you know, over a couple $1,000s worth of items for Animal Friends of Westmoreland. And the reason, I'll be honest with you, the reason I do that isn't because, you know, I want, you know, people to, you know, look at me and say, oh, he's such a great guy. I do it because somebody needs to. You know, I mean, if I could sit there and say, oh, man, it'd be great to do that, or I could just do it, you know, and it's easier just to do it for me. I'd rather go out of my way to do that for somebody, and it costs absolutely nothing, you know. I mean, honestly, other than the small donations that you make buying a bag of food and dropping it off or whatever, I mean, just the fact that you get to help something or somebody for me is enough. And that's, you know, they've given me the opportunity to do that plenty of times, and I continue to keep doing it. And next year, or this year, actually, I should say, is going to be the same. You know, we got some ideas in the making here of how I'm going to, you know, create some sort of donation for animal shelters here in the spring, the summer, and the fall. And, of course, Christmas, you know, every year we do something. So it just...
I believe we're going to help out with the one that's coming up here pretty soon. I think we talked about that. The Cash Bash.
Yeah. That's a great opportunity.
We're going to make a donation to them, you know. So, you know how people always say hunters are, you know, we're cruel and everything else. Well, guess what? We're actually not cruel. Every one of us have a pet. I mean, I got a cat in the house. I got a cat outside that isn't even my cat. He's just a stray cat, but he's like the coolest cat ever. If I could teach him how to ride a bike, he'll be up Z&M with me.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that. You know, we've talked before about people's perception of hunters, and we're just out to kill and slaughter. I had a situation the other day at work, and I felt awful about it. I left work hauling oil. I drove past a deer laying on the side of the road. Birds were pecking at it. I assumed it was dead. I come back through a couple hours later, probably 3-4 hours later, and it's trying to get up.
Yeah,
because it got hit by a car.
Right.
And, you know, I called our buddy Matt Kreis, you know, works out there with the game commission, and let him know that, hey, you this deer is not able to get up. I thought it was dead. A couple hours later, I come back and it's trying to get up and can't. I felt awful.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
really?
I don't like to see any animal suffer.
But, it goes to your point, people think that hunters are, just out to kill and stuff. And probably the same, Kelton with bikers, they have some people look at them and we're animals.
We're big bearded tattooed drunks that raise hell. Well, we do raise hell, and some of us are big bearded drunks, but we are good people underneath there. Bikers is probably one of the best families that you can ever get involved with. I mean, I've met more people through riding a Harley or any motorcycle, and just because we're doing a podcast on Harley-Davidson, it does not mean that if you ride something else, you can't ride with us. That's not the way this works. If you're on two wheels, you're part of the family. That's the way I look at it. You ride what you ride what you can afford.
Yeah, absolutely. I got to tell you, I sell way more than just a Harley Davidson. I sell the Vanderhalls, the 3-wheel
Yeah,
cars.
we didn't even talk about that crazy looking spaceship.
That's for a whole nother sit down. I got all kinds of information for you.
That thing is crazy looking.
Brief rundown though, they're built in Utah. They're hand built. They have an assembly line. They're completely customized. Each one has its own special characteristic to it. They are powered by a 1.5 turbo from GM. They are front wheel drive, 0 to 60, 4.5 seconds. We've had a few of them that, we've ran on drag strips and raced, and they are pretty awesome machines, and they're comparable to a trike. And that's really why we brought those on, is because when you decide that you don't want to ride two wheels anymore, you're ready for three, you're not stuck here. You don't have to get this. You have this too. And you have these and you have this. You're not in a position where you don't have other options.
Yeah.
And that's exactly why we brought them on as a brand, and they've done nothing but great things for us thus far.
I did a ride with the Blue Knights, and one of the people that was in that ride with us was borrowed one off of Z M or whatever, and was with us in that thing. And I'll tell you what, he was keeping up. Man, that thing will go.
Yeah. Yeah, they run well. They're powered by a solid chassis. And
Kelton, we need a battery for this bike. A year now, this battery is starting to get a little low. All right, everybody, I want to thank Kelton again for coming on here and hanging out with us and talking a little bit of motorcycle, one of our second passions. We will definitely have him back on, and we will probably have an update with him killing a deer this fall.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me, fellas. Thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it very much.
Dude, it's been fun. Where can people find your social media or come up to Z&M? Throw your information out there.
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook. That's usually the quickest response. The quickest way to get a hold of me is on Facebook. Add me as a friend. It's very easy. Or Instagram. What is it, Kelton? That's one of my old nicknames there. You can find me on there. TikTok, I'm starting to get into that world. I've made like 2 or 3 videos. I'm trying to stay consistent with it, but I've been busy. I know that sounds goofy coming from a motorcycle salesman in February, but I promise you I've been working hard. I've been selling motorcycles.
He is. I've been up there twice this week, and every time I've been up there, he's been with a customer. So
It never stops, man. Just because it's winter doesn't mean it's not a good time to buy a motorcycle. Just, you find the one when you find the one. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, those are the easiest ways. Or stop up to Z&M and meet me personally. I'll make sure that, I take care of you, and make sure that you follow these guys, like everything that they do, because I'll tell you what, this podcast has been one of the funnest things I've done in a long time.
we appreciate that. Hey, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Duke Traps, for all your trapping needs. Get a hold of them at www.duke.com. Give Bill and them guys a call down there. They'll set you up with all your trapping stuff.
And we got Fetsko Heating and Cooling, family owned and operated for 20 plus years now. They're going to be able to keep you warm, keep you cool. You know how Pennsylvania weather can change on a dime. So give Fetsko Heating and Cooling a call. They're an authorized Armstrong dealer. They'll take good care of you. That we can promise you. And we got your good buddy, Rob.
Dear P. Dave.
Wait, it's Dear Lord Dave.
Dear P. Dave. It'll always be Dear P. Dave. Apparition Scent. 100% lethal. Check out the full line of scent eliminators, cover scents, trap and lures, all makes of Deer P.
Yep, proven stuff.
Get it, 100% lethal.
And we got a new sponsor. We got a couple new sponsors this year.
Yeah, we do.
You know this one pretty well, I would say.
Yeah, Dominick's Butchery for all your wild game processing needs. Blah, blah. Give Dennis a holler. We'll take care of them. Come deer season, you stop out there, see us. We make a full line of products from a regular cut down to deer bologna. So give us a stop or give us a call out there at Dominick's Butcher.
And we got Chris.
Yeah, Creek Archery. Find your passion, hunt it down. I guess we're picking up a new line of bows this year too.
Yeah, we're gonna have a bunch of new stuff. Yeah. Bows are rolling in, so stop down at Creek Archery and test out all the new bows, new gear. It's all there. And what do you always say? If we don't have it?
If we don't have it, Chris will find it for you. He'll hunt it down. So find your passion and hunt it down at Creek Archery.
And we got our good friends over at Hillview Motors, Route 30 Greensburg, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. Hillview has it.
Stop in there and see Steve Huba.
Yep, our buddy Steve, one of the salesmen up there. And
stop in and tell him the boys from the Keystone Experience told you to come over and harass him.
They got new, used, certified pre-owned, body shop, collision center, still top-notch there.
They got a detailing department, so you need your vehicle clean, stop up there and see Joe. Body shop, stop in and see Butchie.
They'll take care of you. They will. They will.
Yes, they will.
And our last sponsor that we'd like to thank is Chico Outdoors. They're a new sponsor to us this year, but we've been involved with them now for what, Rob, about 5 years?
Yeah.
5 years now. And Chico Outdoors is a nonprofit organization. They like to promote outdoor recreational activities. We all like activities.
Yeah.
You know, hunting, fishing, trapping. And they target veterans and youth, which makes them special.
Yeah.
And it was founded in 2018 by Matt Christ. And it's in honor of his late younger brother, Andrew Chico Christ, who unfortunately passed away from an undiagnosed heart disease. And he loved the outdoors. We had him on last year. We're going to have him on here shortly.
Yep.
And talk a little bit more, but they love to be involved in the outdoors. Since they started it, and you remember, started it in the little Norvelt Hall.
Yeah.
They now have an annual expo, an outdoor expo out at Westmoreland Fairgrounds.
We were privileged enough to be part of the first kickoff one.
Yep. And they like to promote the outdoor sportsmanship year-round, believing that younger generations are the future of the outdoors.
What is it? Matt, Justin, and Keegan.
Yeah.
They do one hell of a job with this outdoors event.
And it's all nonprofit. They sponsor fishing rallies, kids derbies, support all the local clubs and everything, and a whole bunch of stuff. Check them out on Facebook, Instagram, Chico Outdoors.
Thanks for listening.
And we'll catch you on the next one.
Deuces.